Okay, so the details of the Valiant expedition to the area around Tikawara elude me at the moment, but it is rather funny to go to this island and see that they had been kicked out of it, and are off to find this place where the luminous Audra is so as to start digging it out. Oh yes, my notes tell me it was a place called Pokokahara, so it's not even known exactly where it is. But we will explore the island of Tikawara and the village of the same name before we sail off looking for it. I don't want anyone's expedition to fail here in the Deadfire, since that typically means the loss of the crew and sometimes their ship, but I really don't want any more Audra to be mined as the Valians are doing. Well, Luminous Audra is a place for souls to transit back and forth to the in-between, but we still don't know that much about it. But there's a difference between Audra and Luminous Audra. At least the Audra that we are familiar with back in the Dirwood. Yes, it's used in the bathwaters in Nekataka, and it has had a good reputation to heal the sick and re-energize people. But what exactly are they taking from it? Is it the souls of people? I would much rather see experiments with it to know what exactly we are dealing with. But to just see the Valians come and mine it out, then grind it up? That's bothering me, very much. I'd rather see them fail at this, and this is why I am dead set against the Valiant expedition to find a rumored huge vein of luminous Audra at Pokokahara. The village of Tikawara. What an unusual bird, I say. Huh. Well, I don't even know who's what.
It is a bad omen to have a priestess so young.
Age is no assurance of wisdom. Remember Anna?
Still your tongue. Amira's winds will surely carry your words.
They must be talking about their own.
I've got it.
This is woven from Kara reeds, a hardy but flexible material smelling of sea salt.
Oh, filthy lizards. Even here I always smell them.
I have no idea what they're talking about with that one. Hello. The woman stands outside the half-finished building, arms crossed, as if in protest of any shelter it might offer. She looks like she's scowling, but the scars on her face make it hard to tell.
An outsider in Tikawara? Who are you, stranger?
Her hand strays towards a hide belt, cinched tightly about her waist. I'm Keldon Zatha, captain of the Triumph.
A captain? If you had sailed downwind of the island, you would have moved on, I say.
Tike, don't think too highly of Tikawara.
I tell Ranga Ruano that the stench of Tikawara will drive away friend and outsider alike. Do you smell it?
She flares her nostrils and grimaces. Smells like a beachside village to me.
I speak of the Lagufath.
What is that? Some kind of reptile that you were talking about?
There is no food on this barren island that those monsters do not steal.
Her scars are like seams, tugging her face into a scowl. I know that name, Lagafe. Did we face these things before?
Yeah, but how could you say no to those little faces?
Always they circle our village looking for weaknesses.
She shakes her finger, making an argument she seems to have made many times before.
I push the cage with the young ones farther toward the beach, but I smell them even here.
It's no wonder they come here when the beach smells like a Lagafith hatchery.
Better to keep them under our thumb than sharpening blow darts, I say. A week ago, I tracked the fish to Huana ravine, so I challenged the Mataru to a hunting competition. My mother's belt for the brood mother's head.
Okay. Grinning, she thumbs the hide belt slung across her waist.
It is not every day that newcomers land on our beaches. What say you show me how outsiders deal with Lagufath?
You seem strong enough to handle a few Lagafeth.
Akira, you are perceptive for being outside the tribe.
She nods, pursing her lips.
The Ranga orders us to defend his trading post. Otherwise, I would take up my spear. This is sorry work for Mataru, I say.
Mataru. the highest class of Huana society. She folds her arms tighter, looking at the cobbled-together building as though she'd like to kick it down. I'll consider it.
Keep your eyes and ears open. The brood is daring when the mother is close.
She taps the corner of one eye, leveling her gaze at me.
I'll have that fish woman's head mounted in my hut before long.
She exhales and turns her gaze away. What are you doing with this shipwreck?
The Renga wanted a trading post.
She glowers at the strange building, which appears to be part scaffolding and part shipwreck.
He said it will bring more Valians like the sweaty dwarf. Then they will bring food and supplies and their sweaty money.
They're sweaty everything, huh? The dwarf is sweaty. A shiver of disgust ripples across her face. What's wrong with that?
Always I stand here. This is no job for the Mataru. We hunt, fight, and lead.
She paces next to the trading post, restless energy practically quivering through her arms and legs. You look like you're supervising.
Someone must.
She stops and frowns. Adair gives a nod and a wink. Maya cocks her head and listens. Seraphin's eyes close as he nods along. Shoti's eyes gleam with a dark amusement. So, why aren't you hunting or fighting?
What is there to hunt on this heap of rock and moss? No game, only Lagofath skulking in Huana Ravine. Even the antelope know there is no fit home. The grasses are thin and the trees are like a child's bones. Small and soft. Even to build this, we must hike up the mountain for wood.
She raps the side of the trading post with her knuckles. Okay, so I take it that this is the inn of some kind? Can I buy some supplies?
Am I a Kawaru? Do I dirty my fingers with coins 1,000 hands have touched? Never.
She spits.
Go see the sweaty one, the dwarf. He washes his hands sometimes.
So, that's the only place to buy and sell, is that what you're saying? I need a place to rest.
You will never meet a more welcoming tribe.
She rests her face inches from mine and glares at me as if daring me to disagree.
See? The villagers brawl for the honor of your visit.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we need to rest at the moment. No one's injured in the party, and it's still daylight. We've been resting on our ship coming out here, as per normal. Yeah, Victor's right there.
No sign of my shipmates on the horizon.
He sighs and billows the front of his shirt. The wet fabric slaps against his chest with a plopping sound. Ugh. That means it's hot, but I've gotten used to it. Sometimes I sweat, especially if I stand out in the sun for a long time. Hello. What say, traveler? What is this? These fruits are small and underripe. Most are riddled with wormholes. Ugh. The archipelago is full of new faces, I say.
I could never eat a dwarf. For what? Play along! I choose the belly, rich and fatty.
We are Raparu, you fools. We would only get the gristle between his toes.
Ugh. What's this? Small crustaceans skitter across the rocks in the tide pool. Okay, so we have a place to rest, a place to sell, buy. What about the rest of this place? Let's see this Lagafeth cages. I think they're over here.
Quit your chirping. I have no fish for you.
Hey.
Full tides.
The fisherman lowers his head in greeting and wipes his hands on his sarong, which is modeled with fish guts. He doesn't meet my gaze. Why are those Lagafeth caged?
Himwihi and the other Mataru found them when they explored the island.
He looks at the creatures with mingled trepidation and disgust. They bare their teeth in response, flies buzzing around their clouded, gunky eyes and the dull patches on their scales.
Said maybe we train them to build. And if the soil and sea are misers here, then we eat them.
He shrugs, scratching at his incurved belly. Adair's hand begins to drift slowly towards his weapon. He blinks at my companion impassively, glancing towards the sea with an air of mild impatience. Okay, well, what can you tell me about Tikawara?
The high tide is stingy with fish. and the low tide even more so.
He points down the beach to a lonely rack, strung with a few scrawny fish. Okay, farewell. Don't know what to make of these Lagerfeth. Oh, these are their young, yeah. Oh, abandoned cat. We're gonna have a regular zoo on our ship. Keep this up. Well, I guess that's the edge of Tikawara. The town, that is. Okay, so let's go further up. Let's go up these steps. It's around dinner time.
The village starves, and you hide Kawiki fruit?
I hide nothing, you bloated pufferfish. Traitor! Gatty's jaws will close around you!
Okay.
Confess, Tamao, or will you let good food rot?
Our young warrior's forehead is furrowed with lines and beaded with perspiration. He stands over a man, bound to a pole.
Does mine look like a full belly, idiot? Question the rest of the Raparu. We all hunger.
Every word out of the bound man emerges as an agonizing wheeze. He glares up at Mikumu.
Disgrace. Any other Raparu has worked 10 times in a day what you have in your life, and they do not complain.
The warrior pulls a dagger from his belt and thumbs the tip thoughtfully. Blinking, he turns to me, wearing a bright, friendly smile.
Watcher, we can't just let this injustice stand. Do something, or I might.
Hands on his hips, Seraphim grins. Don't worry, I intend to.
You do? I mean, of course you do.
She grins big and brassy, unable to hide her happiness with me.
I say, this outsider speaks her mind like a Mataru.
He touches his chin and looks over Shoti before focusing his attention back to me.
Another outsider. You visit Tikawara in hungry times.
Mikumu sighs through his nose.
For what do you make of this hagfish, huh? Will Tamao confess if I tighten the ropes?
He gestures to the bound man. You know, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. He blinks, momentarily perplexed.
Pakeho caught this wretch stealing the last of the Kawiki fruit. The tribe was to feast on it for a harvest ceremony.
I stole no Kawiki, but I wish I had. I would have hid it somewhere most unpleasant.
He bares his teeth in a defiant grin.
You hear this? A second chance we give, and Tamao throws it in our faces.
Mikumu holds the blade level with Tamu's heart. He's done this before?
Lied and stolen? Akira.
Huana term of agreement and emphasis.
When we have food, he takes more than he deserves. He steals baskets and pots, and even pilfered a spearhead from a warrior on the hunt.
Exasperated, Mikumu mops his brow with the back of his hand.
I say there is no person in Tikawara who he has not wronged in some way. Maybe no person in the Deadfire.
What say you, Tamao?
I say I deserve what others have in plenty. Shade, a full belly, a moment to kneel on cool sands.
He glares up at Mikumu.
We stopped being a tribe when Ruanu dragged us into the path of the outsiders. Now we can only save ourselves.
You shame us, Tamao. To return in your next life as a coconut crab would be too kind.
Mikumu stamps his foot, kicking up a flurry of dust. What was this Kawiki ceremony?
We would have eaten the last of the Kawiki as a tribe. This way we give our thanks to Kahopa, the eel of life.
His eyes go downcast. That's Barath, or aspect of Barath.
Now this cannot happen. Our harvest fails because this one puts his empty stomach higher than the gods.
Isn't it traditional to eat the whole fruit, seeds and all?
Akira, just so.
He nods resolutely.
To consume the fruit, seeds, and all. This is how we pray to Kahopa for bounty.
Would it make things better if I had some spare Kawiki fruit on hand?
I say, missing food is not the problem. Tamao betrays the tribe, dishonors the Reparo, denies all of us Kahopa's mercy.
He winces as if ashamed to even discuss it.
And he will surely wash back into our nets as a mudfish in the next life if he does not tell us where the Kawiki fruit is!
He raises his voice again, just to be certain Tamao hears it. I think half the village heard that.
I might have an old primer on Raotayan naval punishments lying around. You could give those a try.
Maya.
You speak like an outlander, but your face is of the tribes.
He frowns at Maya.
Forget I said anything.
So you have your guilty man. What's to be done?
Pikeho's word is enough to give Tamao over to the waves.
Oh. Mukumu faces the beach and touches his brow.
Oh, perfectly civilized. Go on.
Maya strokes her chin and nods.
This is our way.
He blinks at Maya.
Better to drown as an innocent man than starve with you fools.
Tamao spits, but without the forward momentum, it just dribbles on his chin. Mukumu turns his gaze away, doing his best to ignore him.
Justice does not fill our stomachs or our hearts. It brings the gods no closer to ending this famine.
Mukumu's hand strays towards his stomach. He glances out to the horizon. I owe the gods a favor. Your Kawiki is as good as found.
Akira, you would do this? I say, our Ranga will dedicate the Feast of the Last Kawiki to your name.
He claps me on the shoulder, leaving Tamao all but forgotten.
Until the Kawiki is found, I will delight in prodding this stubborn eel for answers.
He touches the point of his dagger, his lips spreading into a broad grin.
You are free to question him in your custom, I say, and Peheko he tarries often by the beach.
Mukumu nods towards the shore. Peheko? I'd like to know about the village.
Then you must speak with the Ranga. His lodge is at the top of the hill, past the trading post.
The title of a Huana tribal chieftain, not to be confused with Ranga Nui, the Raotayan title for the emperor. Okay, so the Ranga is the chieftain here.
Nairi also knows much, but she is quiet ever since.
His eyes go wide as he catches himself. He clears his throat.
Nairi, she tends the shrine in the northwest part of town, near the statue of Ngati. Yes.
He nods rapidly. What do you do here?
I am a warrior, like most Mataru. Can you not tell?
He poses, standing tall and flipping his blade in his hands.
We have little reason to fight on Tikawara, except when the fishermen drink too much of the dwarf man's liquor.
Funny thing I learned about grog back on the Sorcerer. It be birthing up quarrels as often as it be burying them.
He grins, pulls a skin from his belt, and takes a swig.
But these are only small fights, not like it was on the island we left before, when the pirates, the slave...
The slavers? His expression goes slack for several seconds. His widening eyes stare blankly into some remembered horror. After a moment, he snaps back.
But what did I say? Tikawara does not give in abundance, but there are worse things, Akira.
Okay. So I'm to go see this person down by the shore.
So you're saying you're literally a pirate of the mind? You sail in and steal people's thoughts?
Behold, lass, I'm the original psychic piratical.
Not hardly. Even I've heard about Malnage. She's a cipher like you, ain't she? Only older.
Had to dredge up my cruel rival. You should know her arsehole itches when mention be made of her.
What a nasty hex. Tell me you weren't the one that put it on her. Darn, I hope that doesn't make her itch. Hell, or that. Now I'm just making it worse. I best shut my mouth before I cause more damage.
I like your style, kid.
Okay. What was the name? He said by the beach. Plucked fruit. Fisherman Pikeho caught Tamao steaking Kyoki. Pikeho. Where is Pikeho? Yeah, it's the fisherman we talked to before.
You need something?
The fisherman scratches his cheek, dusting it with glimmering scales. Mukumu says you caught Tamao stealing Kyoki.
Ikira.
He pauses and stares at me with wide eyes.
Tamao was creeping around the drying hut where we stored Koiki for the ceremony, north of our Ranga's home.
He tips his head to gesture away, holding my eye contact all the while.
I grabbed Tamao by the wrist and dragged him to Mukumu. We found all of the Koiki were gone. The snake brought this on himself, I say. Now Mukumu will deliver him to Tangaloa's maw, where he belongs.
Pikeho nods slowly. Did you actually see Tamao with any Koiki?
Ikira, it is as I said. Tamao was near the Koiki hut.
He blinks at me.
Stuffing his face, I say. And if he will not admit it in this life, he will pay in the next one.
Can you think of anything that might help me find the Koiki? He shakes his head, his eyes turning downcast.
I know that Mukumu wished to give the fruit to Ngati with a prayer to pull back her furious storms.
What? Actually, Mukumu told me the Koiki were for a harvest ritual. He opens his mouth to retort, but closes it and hangs his head.
It is said the gods piss on the souls of liars before sending them back to Aora as krill. Tamao stole no Koiki.
He didn't steal any.
Kahopa must have made Tamao from sand lice, because he gives nothing to the tribe, only takes.
Tamao isn't the one implicating an innocent man.
Tamao is as innocent as a skulking tidepool worm.
Pikeho spits forcefully to the ground.
He hates the tribe. Pity and charity fill his belly and shell pouch, and he has not strained a muscle to serve anyone but himself.
Pikeho balls his hands at his sides.
Knowing this does not bring the Koiki back to the drying hut, but it will help to heal the tribe.
Would Mukumu accept your retraction with a Koiki to prove it?
No. He wants the Koiki and the guilty. So do we all, I say. I cannot say if the true thief covered their tracks, since Mukumu never looked for clues.
Pikeho shrugs and calmly brushes the sand off his foot. How do you know it wasn't these Lagofeth that took it?
But the drying hut? Ikira, in his sandals, this is where I would look.
Okay, farewell.
Yes. Hello. Whatever you need, I can help.
He speaks with the false poise of someone who spends a lot of time practicing in front of the mirror. Pikeho was lying. Tamao didn't steal the Koiki.
What say? Pikeho speak through a false blowhole?
Mukumu narrows his eyes.
Prove it. Show me the real traitor.
He opens his arms, gesturing to the surrounding huts. I don't have any hard evidence yet.
Do not waste my time, I say.
Mukumu folds his arms and frowns. Well, you've got the wrong man. The man who fingered him has just declared that he actually lied about it. So either there's somebody else who's taking their food within the village, or...
Step back, all of you.
Who's this? Oh, it's a Lagofeth. The broad-shouldered Amua at the center of the huddle takes a cautious step back. His gaze never breaks from the tribesmen who have him surrounded, and his hands never stray far from his weapons.
You've all got the wrong idea. I'm waiting for a shipment of sailcloth from the homeland. Is that going to be a problem?
His expression turns stony as the implied threat crosses his lips.
Then what say you about this? Coded gibberish, or I'm an Orlin.
Someone from the crowd tosses a sheaf of papers to the ground by Harama's feet. The assembled tribesmen mutter their assent. That's the person that Maya has to deliver the missive to.
Damn it. He's about 2 seconds away from starting a brawl. I've got to step in.
Maya furrows her brow. I'll follow your lead. She clears her throat loud enough to turn heads in the direction of my party.
1 against a mob isn't exactly even. Ever heard of a fair fight?
Maya cracks her knuckles and rolls her shoulders. Oh, Maya, I didn't expect that you'd be more diplomatic than this. Seraphine grins. Thoughtful, Shodi rubs a knuckle along the edge of her jaw.
Ha! Company warships blow our canoes to splinters, and you call us unfair? You foreign imps are all the same.
Turning to me and Maya, Harama gives away no recognition other than a flicker of gratitude. What seems to be the problem here?
As surely as sharks circle spilled blood, this one has been casting an unwelcome shadow on our village.
One of the villagers steps forward and gestures to Harama. Dark, unwelcome shadow.
We found coded documents in his quarters, and he defended himself with lies. Outsider spy.
Mutters of assent rise in volume from the assembled villagers. What makes you think it's anything nefarious?
Because Rawatai hungers after these isles, like a tiger lurking in the tall grass and whetting its chops.
If you townies are dumb enough to go blundering into an alpha predator, you deserve what's coming to you.
Maya squares her stance and shakes her head.
Who are you to speak in his defense? And who is your traitor friend who postures like she is not one of us?
Jeers and rude gestures fill the air, many of them aimed at Maya. I've done good by your people, if you would but remember my face. Whispers spread among the group as the fighters struggle to recall from where they recognize my features. I hear the muted ripple of agreement smother their suspicion.
Harama, we will have eyes on you. Cause no trouble.
The leader of the gang points from his eyes to Harama's, and then signals the rest to depart. Very interesting.
I owe you thanks for that, stranger.
The big Rawatanian stands at ease and looks me up and down, nodding with approval.
Now here is a welcome sight.
He turns to face Maya, and a smile brightens his features.
Is that little Ashiza? Hop over here, you old terror.
Harama opens his arms, and Maya's bird darts enthusiastically closer, pecking at Harama's shins.
Ishi town. You don't know where he's been.
Maya arches her brow, smiling in spite of herself. See nothing.
I would say that we should visit the closest tavern and toast to life. But for once, I might be the odd man out.
He appraises me with a curious smirk.
Captain, this is Harama. We were shipmates on the Flying Buttress.
She nods at him, their eye contact lingering an extra moment.
That's a word for it. You could also say we were...
loyal servants of the homeland. That's enough out of you.
Yeah, there's something between them. Maya touches her brow and shakes her head, hiding the hint of a smile. Seraphine strokes his braided beard beneath a quiet smirk. Shoti's eyes gleam with a dark amusement.
Afraid this isn't a social visit. This comes from up high.
She passes him a roll of parchment. His demeanor hardens the moment he unseals the missive, worming his tongue over his teeth. Harama lifts up the parchment to view it against a light source.
Atsura's up to his tricks again, I see. Thank you, Maya. I've been waiting for this.
That sounds malicious.
Maya, why is he asking?
Harama squints at me, hesitating to say more.
Captain, later. I promise we can discuss it later. I guess we're done here. It's been, well, sort of like old times. In a good way.
Maya grins, planting her hands on her hips.
Especially seeing you coming and going again. When the dust settles, maybe we could...
He trails off, shifting his weight.
I'd like that. Ishi misses you something awful.
Say no more. Good luck in your travels and other adventures. Ashiza, you keep your feathers clean.
He salutes Maya and steps back with a wink.
I need to check in with Atsura. Mind if we take a detour to the Brass Citadel?
Maya raises her brow. Reporting on your mission, I take it?
Something like that. Atsura probably wants to make sure I'm not wasting too many resources on his little errand. Nothing to worry about.
Maya shrugs, gesturing to be off. Okay, let's try to find out who took the Kyoki fruit. Koyoki, however you pronounce it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.